The teachings and the way of life of the Essenes, probably most accurately described by Flavius Josephus, the Roman historian, Pliny the Elder, Philo, the Alexandrian philosopher. Others in this 300-year period often refer to them. Their information is supported by a number of modern historians. There seems to be a general agreement among these historians on the uniqueness of the Essenes and the basic information about them. Among all the beautiful teachings known to man, none has had more of a profound influence for good other than that of the Essenes. The Essene history documented by these historians covers approximately a 300-year span from 186 BC to the destruction of the Great Temple in 70 AD, the final Roman defeat of the Jewish people. Some were married and others celibate. The typical Essene was a mystic of the desert, but others were called zealots for their political translation of the scriptures into political action. Almost all were vegetarian, but some modern historians suggest that not all were. Some modern French archaeologists have even hypothesized that Qumran was a spa at the Dead Sea. I don't even know.
It was a health spa because the Essenes were all into the healthy living. Why were they vegetarians? Right. Why were they?
They were paying attention.
Yeah.
It is difficult to conclusively prove what actually was true 2,200 years ago. Josephus, after a 3-year apprenticeship with them, described their teachings. The doctrine of the Essenes tends to teach all men that they confidently may trust their fate in the hands of God. Nothing happens without his will. They say that the soul is immortal, and they aspire to lead a righteous and honest life. They are the most honest people in the world, and always good is their word. Very industrious and enterprising, and show great skill and concern in agriculture. On account of the sense of justice, they never keep servants. They do not think it's right that one should be a slave or a servant of the other, as well as all men and brethren, and God is their Father. They also perform the service of priests for all the wants, such as food and clothing. They all live the same simple, industrious, and frugal life. The third class of philosophers among the Jews, and the class is most esteemed for their just and moral life, and that is the Essenes. They do not live in any particular town, but in every town the order has its respective house. In every town is an elder. The Essenes' worship of God is grand, sacred, and majestic. They eat and drink only what is necessary for their wants. In general, they do not act without the knowledge and consent of their elders, but it is always left to their own free will to exercise benevolence and compassion to all in want. Of all the classes of society, to feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, shelter the homeless, to comfort the sick, to visit and assist and comfort the prisoner, to comfort, to aid, and to protect the widows and the fatherless. They study with perseverance and interest ancient writings. They have profound knowledge of the art of healing, and they study it arduously. Now, who does that sound like?
That all sounds like Jesus.
Everything of that says it's Jesus. They examine and are acquainted with the medicinal herbs and plants, which they prepare as medicine for man and beast. They were cold water bathers on a daily basis, wearers of only linen, and in general were purest in their life habits. Others suggest that they enjoyed music, dance, and other forms of movement and exercise. The Essenes were not seen as just philosophers, but were considered people of interest, intense moral and physical action, reflecting their intense beliefs. In accordance with their lifestyle, outside of healing, they were collectively involved primarily in different forms of agriculture. The Essenes called a therapeute, translated physician. Wow. Physician, heal thyself. They are instructed in goodly books, They are instructed in goodly books in the writings of the prophets, and they grow in wisdom and purity of heart. Many of the scenes have often stepped forth among the people as prophets. Their passages often came true, and this increased the esteem of the people as holy men, prophets. Rightly do they deserve to be called an example for the life of other people. Indeed, they are champions of faith, truth, and honesty. As the servants and arbitrators of peace, they are to wake up the perennial truth of all paths. The divine presence is the essence of who they are. When they are in this consciousness, it is known as Devaka. Their essence is the truth of all religions. From that truth, the natural state spontaneously emanates, that non-causal love, peace, contentment, and joy. Naturally. And that is what they seek. The Essene's consciousness of Devaka, cleaving to God, Yah, implies constant communion with the divine and an intense, overwhelming consciousness. Isn't that who we are supposed to be?
Yeah. Well, that is the foundations of Christianity.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's who.
That is the old ways.
It's the old ways.
Mm-hmm.
And what I heard in all of this was Christ.
It's what he was teaching.
It's what he was teaching.
Mm-hmm.
The Essene consciousness is that of the awakened ones. They are the ones who live in the eternal presence beyond the confines of the identification with the mind and body. Oral tradition says that Enoch, the seventh generation from Adam who walked with Yah and became whole, was the first Essene. Oral and written tradition also teaches that Enoch was taken up alive. Enoch then walked with God and was no more. And that scriptures say that Noah, who walked with Yah and was whole, Noah's son, Shem, also known as Melchizedek.
No, it's true. Yep.
Received.
That's where Abraham got his.
Bam.
They will pass this information from generation to generation.
And scriptures say that Noah also walked with Yah and was whole. Noah's son Shem, also known as Melchizedek, received the lineage from Noah and passed on the lineage to Abraham, who walked before Yah and was whole. Oh, Abraham. That says Abraham.
Right. That's the
old
Jewish
okay.
spelling. Yeah.
Okay.
Abram.
Okay. Certain oral traditions suggested that Sufis, Muslim,
the Sufis.
Okay. Certain oral traditions suggested Sufis, Muslim mystics, and the Essenes, who both suggest their mystical tradition of liberation goes back to Adam, may indeed have been one of the same mystic groups at one time, while Sufis became the Islamic mystical expression, both knowing their essential oneness. After the teachings of the lineage were transferred by Melchizedek, the son of Noah called Shem, to Abraham, they were then translated to Yitzhak, to Yaakov, and to Yosef teachings, and then reemerged with Moses' teachings of the first set of tablets brought down from Mount Sinai. In the Essene lore, Kabbalistic oral tradition, these esoteric teachings brought down by Moses were given to those who were spiritually ready. Many of the people were not ready for these esoteric teachings of the tradition. The second set of tablets, containing what we call the Ten Commandments, comprised the exoteric teachings given to guide the vast majority who in their spiritual immaturity had created the golden calf. Until now, even the relatively concrete teachings of the magnificently simple and profound Ten Commandments have been too difficult for most of the world to follow. The Essenes taught a way of being whole and peaceful that included following the laws of the Torah. But the Essenes taught a way of being whole and peaceful that included following the laws of the Torah, but took one beyond
It's
wrote
one step
the
further.
rote performing of the laws.
Mhm.
Their teachings were not meant to replace the Ten Commandments, but rather to offer a way to transform oneself into the living law of the Ten Commandments, as the Ten Speakings. The teaching and lineage were given to King David, King Solomon, Samuel the prophet, and to the prophets Elijah, Elisha, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Amos. Many of these prophets lived on the Mount Carmel mountain range and guided people who gathered around them, creating the subtle beginning of Essene communities as far back as 600 BC. The Essenes sent forth teachers from their own communities to share these teachings with all nations, including mention the Essene in 20 BC, John the Baptist, and John the Beloved. Seems obvious. Though it's difficult to absolutely prove that Jesus, Mary, and Joseph were Essenes, there is substantial oral and some written history that supports this. Essence of the Essene teachings can be found in the beautiful 7 Beatitudes of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. The Essene movement evolved from them into the Qumran community by the Dead Sea in 186 BCE. Essenes were more complex and diversified than that portrayed in the Qumran community text or by the Jewish historian Josephus. Parallel to Qumran were the Mount Carmel Essenes and their communities, such as Nazareth, in the foothills of Mount Carmel. John the Baptist, also an Essene, was said to be the cousin of Jesus, brother of Jesus. James was Jesus' appointed successor, and he maintained the teachings of Jesus, including the teachings of good works and grace, as foundations on the path. James also ran the Jerusalem church. All these spiritual luminaries were Essenes. Jesus taught the enlightened Torah and Talmudic prophetic ways of the Essenes as a Jew. No one knows exactly what happened to the Essenes. In 69 AD, forewarned by the advancing Roman legions, they hid many of their manuscripts and sacred texts, and they seemed to disappear. Oral tradition suggests that they brought their teachings in small groups to the far corners of the earth. Some of them were said to have been to become the Gnostics. Their knowledge has only resurfaced in this century through the finding of the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947 at Qumran and the few manuscripts that have been preserved in monasteries. It is relevant today as in ancient times. The Essene message of Devakut, God merging, or walk before Yah, and the whole, and to be whole, is an eternal spiritual message. To walk before means to be a blessing of God on this planet. Wake up and stay awake is the message and the blessing. Let's put the pieces together. One little known fact that most Christians don't know is that the earliest followers of Jesus weren't called Christians. They were called Nazarenes. Nazarenes was the name of the northern Essenes at Mount Carmel. The Bible even confirms that the earliest followers of Jesus were called Nazarenes. After his conversion, the Apostle Paul was accused by the Jewish religious leaders of being a ringleader of the Nazarene sect. Before they were called Christians, the earliest followers of Jesus were called Nazarenes. For this group did not name themselves after Christ or with Jesus' own name, but Nazarene. All Christians were called Nazarenes once before the disciples began to be called Christians at Antioch. They were so-called followers of the apostles. They dedicate themselves to the law. However, everyone called the Christians Nazarenes, as I said before. Epiphanius could admit this and not come to the conclusion that maybe the Nazarenes are the original and true followers of Jesus is mind-boggling. Yet he called them heretics because their beliefs were different from the Roman Catholic beliefs. My contention is that there wasn't a city named Nazareth, but in the vicinity of Mount Carmel in modern-day Nazareth, there lived a sect of Essenes called Nazarenes, and that Jesus was a member of this sect. which is why his earlier followers were also called Nazarenes. The name he bears, Jesus the Nazarene, has northern sectarian implications. The name borne by the earliest followers of Jesus was not Christians. They were called Nazarenes. Nazarenes. They were vegetarians and rejected animal sacrifices. It is important to note that the term Judean refers to southern Israel, especially the Orthodox Temple in Jerusalem. The Orthodox form of Judaism was headed by the scribes, Pharisees, and Sadducees. And any true student of the scriptures will know that it was the same group of people who tried and eventually succeeded in having Jesus killed. The Gospels are filled with stories of Jesus and his arguments with the scribes and Pharisees. Jesus was a thorn in their side, and he opposed them at every turn. And once in a while, they would pester him while he was preaching. In the New Testament, it is obvious that Jesus had legitimate reasons for his accusations against the Pharisees. These accusations center on the areas of teaching and practice. The old Nazarenes, like the Samaritans, were opposed to the Judean traditions, holding that the Southerners had falsified the laws of Moses. This is strikingly familiar about what Epiphanes wrote about the Nazarene Essenes when he said that they claimed that these books of Moses are fictions and that none of these customs were instituted by the fathers. We have Jesus in the Bible questioning the traditions of the religious leaders in his time, and we now know there was a different form of Judaism being practiced by northerners in the land of Israel, which opposed those in the south because they claimed the southerners had falsified the law of Moses. Maybe the reason Jesus opposed the Pharisees so much was because Jesus belonged to the Nazarene Essenes in the north and believed that the Jews in the south had corrupted Judaism. He was one of them. It should have been mentioned.
But then we have to say, well, he was always called Jesus of Nazareth. So it was. Yeah. But we didn't know what we have thought until we have stumbled on this.
Yeah.
That was a town
right
in Israel. And you know what? There is a town there. Mm-hmm. But that was well after all of this. They probably named it because of that. Yes. Makes but sense. There was a sect of Essenes called the Nazarites. And that's so they do speak of Jesus of Nazareth.
And for most of the Nazarites, they were Nazarite for 7 years. For a lot of them, it was lifetime, but for 7 years, because that was evidently that was the teaching. That was the
initiate time.
That was when stuff was poured into them, and they were clean vessels. They weren't drinking. They weren't cutting their hair. They weren't doing anything but seeking
taking cold water baths daily to stay clean.
Yeah.
And eating raw vegetables.
Yeah.
And them saying that the Qumran was more than likely a spa. It was all healthy reasons. Think about that. Everything that they were doing, it was almost monk-like.
Yeah.
The way they were living their life. But it was nothing but God's will.
Right. Creeped those people out. It scared them. That's where the power was, and they knew it. But they were happy with man's power. That's all they could understand. Yeah.
That answers that too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, all right, all right. Peace and blessings, peace and blessings, peace and blessings, everybody. This your boy Essene Nazarite, Enoch in the building. You know what I'm saying? All praises and glory to the Most High. Why? Because He's Most High is above all. No matter what God, deity, statue, idol, or image you may worship. All right, the Most High is above all. I'm supposed to be having my boy join me today. Hopefully, he comes on in. I sent him a link. My boy is Essene Nazarite Yahoo, one of the first brothers that helped me, plant these seeds. And likewise, I also help him plant these seeds. All right. Coming to you live and direct from YouTube. The main course of action of this study will be Genesis versus Leviticus. All right. What do you mean, Genesis versus Leviticus? So, what we're asking is, do the laws that are implemented in Leviticus reflect the laws that are publicly current within Genesis chapter 1? Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, we see that we have laws that are written in Genesis: be fruitful and multiply, have dominion over the earth. Man shall leave father and mother and cleave into one wife. Things like that. You know what I'm saying? Simple. All right. And of course, Genesis 1:29 and 30, eat fruits, herbs, and vegetables, as well as the animals must eat all green plants. Okay. Now, as you can see right there, it was simple and easy. All right. Just by that right there, I can tell you that means a lot. All right. So let me break this down for you. Okay. Some verses, some verses in Leviticus represent, but for the most part, they do not. Okay. Adam is supposed to be the perfect example of keeping the law. What do I mean by that? Okay. We know that Adam was not a homosexual. Okay. We know that Adam didn't steal. Adam was made in the image of God, so therefore he had to be holy, like unto the Creator, which backs up the very first two statements I said. Adam was not a homosexual. Adam did not steal. Adam was a fruitarian. And it's funny, I want to actually stop right there where I say Adam was a fruitarian because a brother, an elder of mine, said that, well, the reason why we're able to eat fruits, herbs, and vegetables is because, the reason why we're able to eat meat is because Adam sinned. And I caught the elder dead in his tracks and I said, yo, that's very interesting because when you go to Genesis chapter 3, even when Adam so-called was cursed for his sin, which we as Essenes don't believe he was a transgressor. Let's clear that up first. When you see that in Genesis chapter 3 that Adam was cursed for his sin, even Adam himself was not given a dietary law of eating flesh. He was told thorns and thistles and the herbs you shall eat until basically to the sweat comes off your face. Okay. So like I told the elder, the fact that you blame Adam for your sins of eating flesh, and even Adam himself was not even given a flesh dietary law after he so-called sinned, should tell much about you. Now, Adam is supposed to be the so-called person or man for all sin, like I told him, then I'm pretty sure in Genesis chapter 3, it should say thorns and thistles, herbs, and flesh you should eat. All right. And then man would have been downcast. You probably would have had an argument then. But even with that, you still don't even have an argument because he's still given a strict brace fruitarian diet within Genesis 3. And that's also something that the Ebionite book pointed out, that the fact that he was cursed with herbs of something we was already given in Genesis 1 and 29, which why we don't believe a lot of that stuff in Genesis chapter 2 and 3 actually happened with the serpent, which we believe is Greco-Roman polytheistic doctrines. But that's another story and topic for another day. So again, like we say, Adam was not a homosexual. Adam didn't steal. Adam didn't murder. Okay. All right. In order for you to murder something, must have two eyeballs and a soul. I will always say that. Okay. Two eyeballs and a soul. All right. Whether they have one eyeball and or none, at the end of the day, they have a soul and a spirit. Okay. They have a heartbeat. All right. So animals have the same characteristics as we do. All right. If you bite the skin of an animal, he can feel the torture and the pain of that bite. If you bite the skin of a man, he can feel the torture and pain of that bite. But if you bite the skin of a plant, okay, not to say it won't feel, but I guarantee you won't cry. A plant is here for exactly what it's here for, and that's to service us with food. All right. It was given to for us as, like it said in Genesis chapter 1 and 29, for meat, M-E-A-T, or for food. So again, like I say, Adam was supposed to be a perfect example. So what I ask people today is, all right, do the laws in Genesis, all right, reflect the laws in Leviticus. Did Noah keep any of those? Did Noah or Adam or even Enoch keep any of these laws that we see in Leviticus? We see Enoch walking with God all the time. We see Noah being most righteous above all men, a faithful steward, and we see Adam made in the image of the Creator. All right. So what I'll be basically doing is going through a few of these laws. All right, because I remember in the Clementine homilies, I believe Simon asked Peter, "How do we know which laws are we to follow?" And Peter simply told him, "The laws that are in harmony with the creation." And I've had many people tell me, "Well, how do you know which laws are in harmony with the creation?" It's a simple answer. It's called right from wrong. I had to tell a brother the other day. He asked me what religion I was in. I said, if you call right from wrong a religion, then you are sadly mistaken, okay? Right from wrong is not a religion, all right? What we Essenes and Nazarenes or Nazarites, whatever you want to call us, what we are here doing is implementing the true laws of the Creator that was given to us to live righteously and pious. There's nothing wrong with living righteous, but there's everything wrong with living wicked. Okay? So again, man knows right from wrong. And like we said, when you call right from wrong a religion, then you have a problem. It is no religion that because we want to stay healthy and live longer, and live for generations upon generations. And we speaking through our children. We're not speaking living 930 years. We're speaking living through our children. Also, okay, it's not a religion because we want to eat healthy and do what was intended. We see the sun gives heat, the sun gives light. And the sun also grows produce upon the earth, and that produce is supposed to feed anything that has two eyeballs and a soul and a heartbeat. Okay? Right from wrong is not a religion, all right? Because we decide not to steal and convey our neighbor's personal belongings doesn't make it a religion. Just makes us want to be righteous and just men. Okay? Point blank, period. Because we don't want to commit adultery and possibly cause harm to our neighbors or our brethren or our sisters doesn't make us religious. Just makes us a group of people that want to respect the Creator, what He originally intended for man to do, which is to have one wife, one husband, and to be fruitful and multiply with that one wife and one husband. Right from wrong is not a religion at all. All right. And that's simply what we got going on here. Okay. So y'all can give me a few seconds. I'm gonna try to, before I actually go in, I'm gonna try to tag in along with my boy, see where he at. If not, I'll just have to go ahead, see where he at. Like I said, I'll be bringing out some things, a few things from the Clementine homilies, but for the most part, we'll be examining a few things from Leviticus, all right, and Genesis, all right. So before I start, go ahead and, all right. So peace and blessings, peace and blessings. It is currently 9:02. Can you hear me? Stephen Honey, give me a one if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Still no sound? You give me a one if you can hear me. One if you can hear me. Hold on. Let me know if you can hear me. Yeah, so I actually could, man. So I just went in. I just went to actually check the phone. I actually could hear myself. So I actually don't know why. And just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna type it in on another channel, make sure before I go in. Yeah, actually see. Let me see if I make sure I can hear myself on this one, on this side of the screen. Hold on, hold on. All right, there we go. Can y'all hear me now? Give me a 5. Give me a 7 in the chat if you can hear me. Yeah, we should be good to go. Roger Washington, let me know if you can hear me, big dog. Yeah. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Use of errors. All right. Use of errors. Let's try that again. It says, no, it says a prior argument. Y'all got me? We good? Oh, okay, cool. My bad. My bad. All right, so we good to go. I had it on mute for some reason, bro. I had it on mute. I don't know why. And I'm not going to erase it. I'm going to just start over what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? So peace and blessings. I want to go back to the corruption of the law. Clementine homilies, all right? And like I said, we're going to get into the whole Genesis versus Leviticus thing, okay? I need everybody to understand where I'm coming from with this, okay? Peace and blessings. All right? Understand it says the corruption of the law. For the scriptures have joined to them many falsehoods against God on this account. The prophet Moses, having by order of God delivered the law with extending explanations to certain chosen men, some 70 in number, in order that they may also instruct such of the people as chose after a little, the written law had added to it certain falsehoods. Okay, there we go. I got you in the game, Stephen Hunt. I got you in the game. Peace and blessings. I didn't know. I ain't been on here in a minute. I got my mic thing on is red, but I didn't notice that it still had mute on there. All right. So I gotta watch that. All right. I gotta watch that. All right. Yeah, I gotta watch that. All right, so cool. So peep game, right? It said the little while the law had laws added to it. That was, you know what I'm saying? That was added to it. So what do you mean? Again, when we go to Genesis, all right. When we go to Genesis chapter 1, we see what? Fruits, herbs, and vegetables, Genesis 1:29 and 30, and he given the same dietary vegan law to the animals. All right. It says, have dominion over the earth. Man was created in his image, which means man shall be holy like the Most High. And you must be fruitful and multiply, which means man do not leave woman, woman do not leave man. You must create with that one woman. Okay. Those are the original divine laws. Then you have Leviticus as well as Deuteronomy, but we're going to focus on Leviticus right now. Leviticus, where a lot of these laws, all right, don't reflect the true harmony in divine laws that was given in Genesis 1. And so what we believe is that Adam was supposed to be a perfect example of these laws that we were supposed to have been keeping. We don't see Adam being a homosexual. So yes, laws like do not commit adultery or do not commit homosexual acts. You know, those verses in Leviticus, we believe, all right? Not all the laws in Leviticus reflect the divine laws given in Genesis, okay? Understand a lot of those laws had to be written for Israel because Israel couldn't understand righteousness. Israel was so deep within the Egyptian culture that when Moshe came along and tried to give them righteous and divine laws, they couldn't keep them because they had been in Egypt so long. They had already got used to eating flesh. Numbers 11, Psalm 78, and Exodus 16. They got used to killing their brothers so much, fighting, stoning, worshiping idols, stones, and images. This is what Israel was used to by the time Moses tried to implement Genesis chapter 1 within them. Okay? We Essenes follow Genesis 1. We follow Adam, Noah, and Enoch for the most part. Okay? Now, what I said is Adam was not a homosexual. Adam didn't steal. Adam had one wife. Adam was fruitarian. Adam didn't stone people. Adam didn't kill people. Adam didn't have slaves. Okay? Adam worshiped one God. All right? One deity, which is the creator of the heavens and the earth and everything that was within. All right? This is what we're saying. Adam didn't keep all these laws that we find in Leviticus today. He did not. This is why we say written laws was added. If you say everything is official in that Bible, then you agree that God changes. And I'm sorry I'm mistaken, my friend. You are an evil person, whoever you are, because the creator of this world does not change. And we're going to get to that. All right. So let me read the most important part, one of the very most important parts of this book that let it be known about our creator. Okay, let's break it down. Here we go. And this took place in reason and judgment, that those might be convicted who should dare to listen to the things written against God. And those who through love towards him should not only disbelieve the things spoken against him, but should not even endure to hear them at all, even if they should happen to be true, judging it much safer to incur danger with respect to religious faith than to live with an evil conscience on blasphemous words. All right, and that's what we believe. And a lot of those things that are written in the scriptures are written, first off, are not written by prophetic hands, and they are blasphemous words. All right, they are Greco-Roman beliefs, which is why you have all these destruction angels and fallen angels, and Azazel came and taught man how to do this. And come on, man. This is not Lord of the Rings. This is reality. This is reality. We have been Hellenized. We are the Grecians. That's what it's looking like. We made Jesus out to be Zeus. Every eye is going to behold him. We made him out to be an idol. We worship nobody but the Creator. The man who made heaven and earth. We've just been all messed up and screwed around, and we need to go back to the drawing board and reevaluate ourselves. This book right here, Clementine Homilies, the Essenes, it actually shows the light on how much we have been Hellenized. If you believe God repented in Genesis 6:6, you're Hellenized. If you believe in fallen angels and big giant cedar trees, giants, you're Hellenized. If you believe serpents and snakes can talk and Adam sinned through that, you're Hellenized. If you believe somebody's going to come out of that sky and save you with an arm and a body and all that, my bad, that's my light. You're Hellenized. If you believe the Most High desires burnt offerings and sacrifices, you're Hellenized. If you believe the Most High had to go down in Genesis 18 to see whether or not something was going according to Sodom and Gomorrah, which he should have already knew because he foresees all, you're Hellenized. I can show you so many scriptures in that Bible where if you think that happened as true, 9 to 10 times out of 10, you're Hellenized. Jesus was just a man and they made him out to be a demigod. You're Hellenized. You should see the way people act when I tell them that man is not returning. Hellenized. Watch this. Simon, therefore, as I learned, intends to come into public and to speak those chapters against God that are added to the scriptures, for the sake of temptation, that he may seduce as many wretched ones as he can from the love of God. For we do not wish to say in public that these chapters are added to the Bible, since we should thereby perplex the unlearned multitudes, and so accomplish the purpose of this wicked Simon. For they, not having yet the power of discernment, would flee from us as impious, or as if not only the blasphemous chapters were false, they would even withdraw from the word. Wherefore we are under a necessity of ascertaining to the false chapters and putting questions in return to him concerning them, to draw him into straight and to give private explanation of the chapters that are spoken against God to the well disposed after a trial of their faith. And of this there is but one way, and that is a brief one. It is this. So understand this. This was Peter talking to Simon, letting him be. He was giving a discourse to Clement about Simon, the magician, and how Simon was going to use those false scriptures to prove that our God is false because he allows certain things in which that's not the God we serve. Okay? And like I say, I advise everybody to get this Clementine Homilies book, first century. All right? The Essenes were very real Torah. This is why we Essenes are undefeated and we giving all praise to the Most High. That Torah has truth and falsehoods. But how do you know? You must find everything that is in harmony with the Creator in order to discern what is truth and what is false. So again, you know right from wrong. And like I said earlier, right from wrong is not a religion. Okay? Right from wrong is not a religion at all. He gave a strict fruitarian diet in the beginning. That is what we're supposed to live by. Okay? One wife, one husband, or walk alone. Genesis 5:24, Enoch walked with God. That's acceptable. That's acceptable. Having dominion over the earth, no slaves. That's acceptable. Now, listen to this. Listen to this. This is very important. This is how we find out what we've been serving has been truly wrong. Wherefore, far it be it from us to believe that the Lord of all, who made the heavens and the earth, that is one thing I notice. Every time the Essenes, when they make an accusation before they talk to you, they say the Lord who made the heavens and the earth. What am I saying? What I'm saying is when they say the Lord who made the heavens and the earth, they're referring back to Genesis chapter 1. So when you go back to Genesis chapter 1, it gives you all the laws, including your dietary. Okay? The Lord who made the heavens and the earth. Now watch this. And all things that are in them. Genesis chapter 1 tells you about the Lord who made the heavens and the earth, your God, your Most High, and he tells you about everything that he made within them, and he told you what you were supposed to do. And understand this, the things that he told you that you were supposed to do, anything opposite of that is what you're not supposed to do, okay? It's not that hard. Israel has made it that hard. So whatever he told you to do in Genesis chapter 1, if you're doing opposite of that, then 10 times out of 10, you're in error. I'm not going to say 9 times, 10 times out of 10, you're in error. Okay? Speaking of the law. Okay? And it's simple. So like I said, when they say being gay and all, listen. Yes, it is in Genesis 1. When you seen Adam with Eve, that right there told you homosexuality and two men are not put together. Okay? As you can see, even the Most High or the good one did not write anything for Adam. It was written and placed on his heart. Okay? Just like the rest of us. Like Yahshua said, you have never seen God, all right? Nor have you heard his voice. Okay? From the heavens. Let's stop playing. Let's not play those mind games. Some of y'all are psyched out and need to be in the psych ward. Okay? None of y'all have. He has spoken through us through our sixth sense, what he has given us from the womb. Okay? And that's right from wrong. Man has done the opposite and has taught us opposite of what the Creator has truly intended for us. All right? Now, peep game. This is very important right here. And all the things that are in them shares his government with others. He does not, which means there's only one God. or that he lies? For if he lies, then who speaks truth? Or that he makes experiments as in ignorance? For then who foreknows? And if he deliberates and changes his purpose, who is perfect in understanding and permanent in design? Who? If the Most High is repenting in Genesis 6:6, then how was he perfect? That means something didn't go according to what he originally designed. But like it said in Numbers, in 23:19, he is not a man that he should lie, nor is he the son of man that he should repent. But in Genesis 6:6, we makes him out to be a sinner, repentant, somebody that does not foreknow his own works. Hellenized. P gang. If he envies, who is able of rivalry? Remember, he's the God of war. So if you're the God of war, you envy somehow. No, he's not a God of war. He's the God of the living. Let's keep going. Trying to fix this light right. If he hardens hearts, who makes the wise? If he makes blind and deaf, who has given sight and hearing? If he commits pilfering, who administers justice? If he mocks, who is sincere? If he is weak, who is omnipotent? If he is unjust, who is just? If he makes evil things, who shall make good things? If he does evil, who shall do good? But if he desires the fruitful heal, who then are all things? If he is false, who is true? If he dwells in a tabernacle, who is without bounds? If your God dwells within a tabernacle, then who is without bounds? See, my God, the God that the Essenes serve, cannot be found in tabernacles. He can only be found in the tabernacle of your body, your temple. Your temple is your body. He cannot be withheld within the tabernacle in any temple. Our God cannot be withheld within any type of bounds. He's within and with all. Okay? If you want to get from being Hellenized and Hellenization, the Essenes will show you how Hellenized you are, and you need to get away from that book. Unless you're trying to teach the actual truthhoods out of that book and not falsehoods, and you're not uncertain, I say get away from it. And you're not certain, get away from it. This is only for the strong. The Essenes will let you know how Hellenized you are, how much of a Grecian you are, how much of a Greco-Roman you are. Really? It's what I'm here for, baby. Watch this. Like I say, it's all to keep you away from speaking against your creator. That Bible was allowed to be written to see how well you knew your father. And come to find out, we did not know him very well. We didn't. All right? P gang. Watch what it says. If he finds, listen to this. If he is fond of fat and sacrifices and offerings and drink offerings, who then is without need? And who is holy and pure and perfect? If he is pleased with candles and candlesticks, who then placed the luminaries in heaven? Huh? If your God is pleased with candlesticks and all that, who placed the luminaries in heaven? Talk to me now. I'm just saying. Let's keep going. If he dwells in shadows and darknesses and storms and smoke, who is the light that lightens the universe? If he comes with trumpets and shoutings and darts and arrows, who is looked for tranquility of all? If he loves war, who then wishes peace? If he makes evil things, who can make good things? If he is without affection, who is a lover of men? If he is not faithful to his promises, who shall be trusted? If he loves the wicked and adulterers and murderers, who shall be a just judge? If he changes his mind, who is steadfast? If he chooses evil men, who then partakes in the good? And this is why the Essenes were so much hated. Everything that you believe in, 10 times out of 10, the Essenes was opposite of what you believe in. And this is what I tried to tell the elder. You guys believe in fallen angels. The Essenes believe the fall of man started with idols and images. You guys believe in slaughtering animals. The Essenes believe in fruitarian diets. You guys believe in a supernatural Jesus. They believe he was just a man. You guys believe Adam was a transgressor. They believe Adam was not. You guys believe Noah was a drunken. They didn't believe Noah sinned at all. He was a faithful steward. You guys believe that Abraham had 2 wives. The Essenes believe he had 1. Why? Because in order for him to be called a faithful steward of God, he must uphold to the laws in Genesis chapter 1. He must be a vegan and must have 1 wife or no wife at all. You guys believe Jacob had 4 wives. The Essenes believe he had 1, in which all the 12 tribes came from. You guys believe Moses was a murderer. The Essenes don't believe Moses was a murderer at all. So now what am I saying? Most of you guys are still Hellenized. Until you come from up under those beliefs, you're still Hellenized. Why? Because Josephus said also that they wrote those things in hatred towards the Jews and in flattery towards the Romans. All right. And if you think I'm lying, if anybody has Josephus, go to the what is it? Go to the Wars of the Jews preface. Josephus is going to tell you on the before he starts his preface towards talking about the Wars of the Jews, he's going to tell you the reason why your Bible and other books was written the way that it was towards flattery towards the Romans and hatred towards the Jews. Okay. So if I hate you niggas, I'm going to write an evil story about you. So if you had 1 wife, when I get done writing this story, you're going to have 12. Okay. All right. If you were made in the image of God, by the time I finish writing this story, you're going to be the most sinful man. You're going to be the cause of sin of all the world. All right. If you were found a faithful steward towards God, I'm going to make you out a drunken. Okay. And this is what they did. You're Romans. Tampered with your books and made your faithful stewards, your patriarchs, to be adulterers and murderers. And we believed them. They made our God to be a mistake as if he didn't know what he was doing. He allowed angels to fall and have sex with men and women, whatever you want to do it, and teach men how to. Come on now. Now I think I'm starting to get y'all to think now. This is why in the Clementine homilies, it tells you what? The sins of the saints were denied. The Essenes don't believe none of that y'all believe in because it's written in the book. All right? Now, I got some of y'all full divided attention. All right? Let's look at some of these laws, these Greco-Roman laws, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Okay, because even in Leviticus, you had laws where they weren't even sacrificing animals, but bringing things to the temple. Not everything was sacrificed. All right. You had some stories where they say certain scenes that did deal with the holy days or whatever, they would never bring animals, but they would just bring gifts to the temple, even if that was true. All right. But then again, like we said, our God cannot be held with bounds. That's why we don't dwell in temples. Our temple is the body. A lot of people don't even know, and I'm going to say this boldly, okay? Your prophets were Essenes, okay? Ezekiel, Jeremiah, a lot of those, they were Essenes. Why do you think they keep saying they keep dating back to the 660 BCs? Around all the time Ezekiel, Jeremiah, and Amos, and all them people was living. You know what I'm saying? I think they say lived in part of Mount Kermot, something like that. I don't know the name. A lot of our prophets were Essenes. Akhenaten and all, okay? We talking about Egyptian pharaohs now. Yeah, the one that abandoned all the idols and images for one God. Okay. Who some believe happened to be Moses. We got Brother Jeremiah. He said, I thought, nah, you good. Nah, you good, King. Nah, I never leave. So if you still want to join, you good. And I never left. I'm still on. All right. So right here, I have my notes. I have it written down. I done went through all through Leviticus. And it's a problem. It's a bunch of laws in there that are not of the creator. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to play Marco Polo. I'm just playing. I'm going to share my screen. And so what we're going to do is we're going to show how Genesis 1 is where you can find the God of the living. And we're going to show all through Leviticus where you can find Baal, the God of the dead. Now, let me break this down to y'all. A lot of y'all don't understand. Like I said, the Essenes were not Greco-Romanized. Yes, they believe in Baal. What did the Essenes believe Baal mean? Baal simply means the spirit of deceit. Anything that is deceitful is simply the spirit of the devil, all right, or the spirit of Baal. It has nothing to do with nobody with red horns, a red tail, and a red body. Anything that is not truth is considered Baal. It's considered lies. It's considered the spirit of deceit, okay? Anything opposite of Genesis chapter 1 that is not in line with Genesis 1 is the spirit of deceit, okay? So again, we see in scripture, we don't see divorcement in scripture, all right? So therefore, you and your wife ain't supposed to be splitting up. But if anybody calls and tells you to come along and tells you that is okay, that is what you call the devil, the spirit of deceit. If I come in your life and I give you anything but the truth, if I give you anything outside of the truth, I am considered a devil. All right? And it told you that in Revelations. The 666 is the number of man. Man is the beast. So therefore, man is devil. Not some dragon and red horn. And if it wasn't written like that, then that's what we call a mistranslation. All right? But we do know what's going on. Like James said, the reason why you have a Greco-Roman God like Jesus is because Paul grew up as a Roman. And Paul believed in Roman gods. So therefore, Paul gave you a Roman God, a Roman deity. All right? Because Paul grew up as a Roman. All right? Whatever you grow up around, like you say, you're a Christian. All right? So therefore, you're going to have a Christianity God. All right? You're a Muslim, you're going to believe in Allah. All right? You're a Greek, you're going to believe in Grecian gods, Roman gods. If you're Indian, you're going to believe in Hinduism. Okay. That's the same thing happened with Paul. Paul grew up as a Roman, all right? And he spewed out Roman beliefs. So therefore, at the end, you got a Greco-Roman God that's supposed to be coming back to save you, that all the eyes are supposed to behold and see. All right? Now let's get back to facts. Let's share our screen. Let's share this screen. All right? Let me get rid of this. Get rid of that. Yeah, peace and bless to everybody. All right. I don't need no file explorer. There we go. All right, here we go. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it exactly on what we was reading earlier. And we're going to bring out some scriptures and see if it makes a little bit more sense on what Peter was talking about. All right. Okay, here we go. Give me a 2 in the chat. 2 in the chat if you can see my screen. Sounds like today. Cool. Give me a 2 in the chat if you can see my screen correctly. All right. Now, remember, in the first one, it says the same continued. All right. It says, if he dwells in tabernacles, who is without bounds. Okay. Now, watch this. It says, if he is fond of fact. Now, let's go to scriptures, right? The first scripture I want to look at is Leviticus chapter what? I want to look at Leviticus 3. Let's look at Leviticus 3. Like I said, we're not going to run down all of them, but we're going to make this make sense now. We're going to find out who we actually serving here now. All right? Look at this. Leviticus chapter 3. This is what it says. And if his oblation be a sacrifice of peace offering, all right? I'm just use my thing, my arrows. If his oblation be a sacrifice of peace offering, if he offered it of the herd, whether it be male or female, he shall offer it without blemish before the Lord. And he shall lay his hand upon his head of his offering and kill it at the door. Stop right there. That's a problem. Notice what it said. You shall kill it at the door. I've never heard nobody say you should kill a plant. You should kill an apple. You should kill an orange. You should kill a peach. You should kill a plum. I've never heard nobody refer to killing when it comes to fruits, herbs, and vegetables. Now, I may have heard them say things like you may kill the plant if you don't water it. Something like that, but we're talking about torture and bloodshed here. Now, let's look at the contradiction here. All right? Because this is something that I noticed. Reading these things, major contradiction. Now, notice what it said right there. And kill it at the door. Can y'all see my screen? We good? Let me know y'all can see my screen, man. I want to make sure y'all can see my screen. All right. Yeah. Now, here we have a commandment. Exodus chapter 20, verse 13. Let's look at this contradiction here. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. Wait a minute. But according to Leviticus chapter 3, verse 2, it says, and he shall lay his hand upon the head of his offering and kill it at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And Aaron's sons, who are the children of deceit, all right, the sons of Baal right now, the priest shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about. Give me a 2 in the chat if y'all believe that this is the God of the living in Genesis 1. Is the God in Leviticus 3 the same God in Genesis 1? They created heaven and earth and everything that was within them. Now, remember what we said. Kill. But Exodus 20 and 13 says, thou shalt not kill. It doesn't have a stipulation. It doesn't say thou shalt not kill, but with the stipulation of you bringing an animal to an altar for an oblation offering or a sin offering. It says thou shalt not kill, which means thou shalt not kill, period. Okay? But according to Leviticus 3, we're allowed to kill. And kill it at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and Aaron's sons, the priest, shall sprinkle the blood upon the altar. Why? Because in order for you to actually kill something, like blood must be shed, all right? And he shall offer the sacrifice of a peace offering, an offering made by fire unto the Lord. Here it is. The fat that covered the inwards and the fat that is upwards in the inwards. What did the Essenes say? The Essenes said, if he dwells in tabernacles, who is without bounds? If he is fond of fat and sacrifices and offerings and drink offerings, who is without need? And who is holy and pure and perfect? The God we serve is without need. He is holy, he is pure, and he is perfect. And don't need none of you Negroes, burnt offerings and sacrifices to please him. All he needs is a repentant spirit and for you to become a just man or a just woman, which means to be pious and do correctly what was intended for you to do as humankind. Okay? Let's finish reading verse 5. We go on to the next. And Aaron's son shall burn on the altar upon the burnt sacrifice, which is upon the wood that is on the fire. It is an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Lord. All right. That's a problem. Now, here we go. Let's go to another. Matter of fact, let's go to a verse that doesn't deal with sacrifice, because people don't know there are verses in these scriptures that don't deal with sacrifices when you come to the temple. And that's something I learned from one of James' epistles in the exhortations when he was arguing with the Pharisees. All right, because he asked them, he said, well, we know that there were poor amongst Israel. So if there were poor amongst the Israel, how were they able to bring something to the temple if they were poor? Which means they didn't have animals to own. And then James showed them the scripture, like he said. He showed them the scripture. I forgot where it was at, but it's somewhere in my notes. But he showed them the scripture what they bought. It was like an ephah. So if you was poor and you didn't have like a dove or like a lamb or something to offer, you was poor, then all you offer was an ephah, a tenth of an ephah, or something like that. You feel me? So animals were not always permitted. Okay, and Israel thinks that no, they were not always permitted. Let's go over here to Leviticus chapter 2. All right. And I believe you can find a lot of Leviticus chapter 2, verse 1 through 16. All right. Peace and blessings. Again, let me know if you can see my screen. Give me a 1 and a 2. All right. I don't want to leave nobody hanging. Leviticus 2 this. And when any will offer a meat offering to the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour, and he shall pour oil upon it and put frankincense. All right. And he shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests, shall take thereout his handful of the flour thereof, and of oil thereof, with the frankincense thereof. And the priest shall burn the memorial upon it, the altar, to be an offering made by fire of sweet savor to the Lord. And the remnant of the meat offering shall be Aaron's and his sons, and it is most holy, and it is this most holy of the offerings of the Lord made by fire. And thou bring an oblation of a meat offering baked in an oven. It shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mingled with oil. You see that? Okay. Notice how the term says meat. Okay. But this term meat actually means food offering. Okay. So this is why it said again. Let me read that for you. What did it say? And when anyone shall offering a food offering unto the Lord, all right, his offering shall be of fine flour. He shall pour oil upon it and put frankincense upon it. Okay. So within this sacrifice right here it's just fine flour with oil poured upon it with frankincense. Listen to this. Okay. He shall bring it to Aaron and his sons, the priests. He shall take thereout his handful of the flour thereof, the oil thereof, and the frankincense. Okay. Thereof, and the priest shall burn the memorial of it upon the altar to be an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Lord. Okay, so as you can see right here, we have a sacrifice that has nothing to do with slaughtering animals. Only thing that they're messing around with here is flour, oil, and frankincense. Okay, and the remnant of the meat offering shall be Aaron's and his sons, which means what? And the remnant of the food offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is a thing most holy unto the offerings of the Lord made by fire. And thou bring an oblation of a meat/food offering, baking in an oven. It shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, or unleavened wafers anointed with oil. All right. As we can see, it has nothing to do with a burnt offering and sacrifice. All right. This sacrifice simply deals with what? Unleavened cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil. This sounds kind of like manna. Sounds like the manna they was eating. All right. This is the sacrifice here now. Am I lying? I'm showing and proving y'all. That not all things within the scripture, okay, had to do with burnt offerings and sacrifices, okay? So now we done brought frankincense, flour, and oil. We done bought unleavened cakes with fine flour mingled with oil, and unleavened wafers anointed with oil, okay? And any oblation be meat offering baking in a pan, it shall be of fine flour, unleavened, and mingled oil. All right. Thou shalt part it in pieces and pour oil upon it. It is a meat offering. And if thy oblation be of meat offering baking in a frying pan, it shall be made with flour and oil. And thou shalt bring the meat offering that is made of these things unto the Lord when it is presented unto the priest, and he shall bring it unto the altar. Now it says, bring it unto the Lord. What did Peter and the Essenes say? If he is fond of fat and of sacrifice and offerings and drink offerings, who then is without need, who is holy, pure, and perfect? So, according to the Essenes, your God is with need. He is not holy. He is not pure. He is not perfect. Okay, because according to this, all right, your God needs this. Our God doesn't need anything from us but to be pious and have a repentant spirit. But according to Leviticus, your demigod, the God you serve of the dead, says, and the priest shall take from the meat offering a memorial thereof and shall burn it upon the altar. It is an offering made by fire and a sweet savor unto the Lord. Okay. Now, I believe they spoke also about that else somewhere. Let me see something real fast. Hold on. Hold tight right there. All right. I'm looking for the sacrifices. Talked about the sacrifices. Give me a second real fast. Not gonna rush this. Okay, here we are. Here we are. Peace and blessings. These are the Clementine homilies. Peace and blessings, everyone. Now, what it says is about the sacrifices. It says, but that he is not pleased with sacrifices is shown by this, that those who lusted after the flesh were slain as soon as they tasted it and were consigned to a tomb. So that it was called the grave of lust, which is in Numbers 11. He then, who was at first was displeased with those slaughtering of animals, not wishing them to be slain, did not ordain sacrifices as desiring them, nor from the beginning did he require them. Did you hear that? Ladies and gentlemen, we don't see sacrifices and offerings in Genesis 1, like Peter said. We don't see it. Can we find no meat offerings which you shall bring to the Lord shall be made with leaven? For you shall burn no leaven nor any honey in anything or any offering to the Lord made by fire. Can we find any of these stipulations in Genesis 1? No, we cannot, because there was no animal sacrificing made in the beginning. One will say, well, because the sins of Adam, we're not going to do that. For once again, no man can be put to death for the sins of his father, and the son and the father cannot be put to death for the sins of the son. So therefore, that's all out the window. There is no because of Adam. It's because of yourself, because of man. All right. Another story and topic. Again, we don't see oblations, sin offerings, drink offerings in Genesis 1. We see a pure heaven being made, a pure earth. We're seeing animals being called good, man and woman being made in the image of God. Yes, the Essenes believe that man and woman are equal. Yes, I believe that too now. Again, anything you Negroes believe, I'm 10 times out of 10 the opposite of, because that's what the Essenes were. You Negroes believe women's supposed to shut up and keep their head covers. They ain't supposed to say nothing. Nah, we don't believe that. They Most High didn't give them 2 lips, eyes, and a mouth for no reason either. Okay. Both sides of creation messed up. If you're a woman and you got the right idea with the Most High, the commandments, teach on, sister. Because like Peter said, greater is in error of the person does not tell the truth. All right? You are in error if you don't tell the truth. So sitting around and telling some woman that they should be quiet, That woman is in error for not telling the truth. Huh? Am I lying? No, I'm not. Peter said you were in error for not telling the truth. So to the woman that is out there in error for not telling the truth because she has to shut up towards a man, I advise you get away from that. Because your truth could possibly help someone or help from blood being shed. Now, if you're wicked, I advise you keep your mouth closed. But greater is an error in the person that is holding back the truth. All right? Remember that. Tell me if I'm lying. We'll freeze up. All right. Now, like it says, for neither are sacrifices accomplished without the slaughter of animals, nor can the first fruits be presented. But how is it possible for him to abide in darkness and smoke and storm? Well, this is also written, who created a pure heaven and created the sun, giving light to all, and assigned the invariable order of their revolutions in innumerable stars. Thus, O Simon, the handwriting of God, the heaven, shows the counsels of him who made it to be pure and stable. Thus the saying, accusatory of the God who made the heavens are both rendered by void by the opposite sayings which are alongside of them. So everything that I'm reading towards y'all, all right? Are we good? Cool. So 9 times out of 10, that's what I've been talking about, the opposite. Genesis 1 is the God of the living. 9 times out of 10, what you've been reading in the Bible, like Peter said, are things opposite of Genesis chapter 1. Or things opposite, which means they're spoken against him. When you say he allows burnt offerings and sacrifice, you speak against him. When he says he allows you to stone someone, you speak against him. When you say he allows you to write a divorcement bill, you speak against him. When you say he allows multiple wives, you speak against him. Understand? Now, let's go back. Let's continue on reading. All right. Exfoliation of the first fruits. Did you see that? Ain't that what Peter just said? That's what Peter just said. That's what we just read. We just talked about the first fruits. All right. What did he say? For neither are sacrifices accomplished without the slaughter of animals, nor can the first fruits be presented. For the oblation of the first fruits ye shall offer them unto the Lord, but ye shall not be burnt on the altar. And every oblation of the meat offering shall thou season with salt. Neither shalt thou suffer the salt of the covenant of God to be lacking from thy meat offering. With all thine offerings thou shalt offer salt. And if thou offer a meat offering of thy first fruits unto the Lord, thou shalt offer the meat offering of thy first fruits, green ears of corn, dried by fire, and even corn beaten out of the full ears. This is your God. Your God like flesh and he like fruits and vegetables, He tell you when he hungry, I mean, Peter know Torah. I'm breaking down to y'all. Peter know exactly what's going on. But this is not the Peter we get in the New Testament. The Peter we get in the New Testament is Greco-Roman 325 Council of Nicaea out. The Essenes were very well versed in Torah. How do you think I know Torah so good? In order for you to be on the Essene level, you must know Torah. This is why I have nothing but Numbers and Exodus and all this laying around me right now. It's here. You got to know Torah. You got to know the falsehoods from the truthhoods. And what did he say? The first fruits can also be offered. What did he say? For neither are sacrifices accomplished without the slaughter of animals, nor can the first fruits be presented. But how is it possible for him to abide in darkness and smoke and storm? For this also is written, who created a pure heaven and created the sun to give all light. How can the Most High abide in all that smoke and bloodshed when he said he made a pure heaven and the sun to give light? Now you see why Peter lets you know that things that are spoken in Genesis 1, a lot of stuff that came after that speak against our God. Our God don't dwell on a bunch of smoke and mirrors and burnt sacrifices and sweet. He don't do that. It told you. The heavens he made was pure, and he made the sun to give light. Why does he need to abide in all this? It makes no sense. And thou shalt pour oil upon it. Huh? And what did it say? Now remember, we talking about sacrifices, sir. We ain't sacrificing no animals right now. We just bringing mingled cakes, and wafers and green ears, corn dried by fire. Even corn beaten out the 4 ears. Thou shalt put oil upon it, lay frankincense upon it. It is the meat offering. It is a food offering. It's not saying it's not talking about actual flesh. All right. But understand, I'm showing and telling that although that there are burnt offerings and sacrifices in Leviticus, a lot of people failed and looked over, just like they looked over Genesis, that there are a lot of verses in there that talks about that are offerings and drink offerings and food offerings that had nothing to do with animals. And I'm showing y'all. I don't see none of the Israelites doing that. I don't see no Israelites bringing mingled wafers and manna. I don't see them doing that. I see them bringing nothing but animals. Y'all love flesh that much? Y'all just skip over everything. If it ain't talking about no animals, you skipping over it, huh? That's what it seemed like. And the priest shall burn a memorial of it, of beaten corn thereof, and part of the oil thereof, with frankincense thereof. It is an offering made unto the Lord. Okay? Now, after all that, peep game. After all that, watch this. All right. All right. Keep going. I believe it's Psalms 50. Yeah. Here we are. Psalms 50 and 12. Excuse my computer's pretty slow. We should be getting up out of here within a little minute. I just wanted to go ahead and start this off because, like I say, man, Father willing, there should be a part 2 and a part 3 of this. I just wanted to go ahead and pretty much get it started because, like I say, man, I've been running through these laws and I've been saying, man, this stuff is bad, bro. This stuff is bad. We've just been totally bamboozled, okay? But anyways, Psalms 50 and 12. He said, if I were hungry, would I tell you? For the world is mine and all that is in it. Okay, you can look through anything except to that thing. Okay? So get done going through this and all your sacrifice laws, be mingled, no matter the anything. He said, if I was hungry, I would not tell you, for the world is mine and all that is in it. So that's why I go to tell y'all don't understand. David, all these cats was Essenes, man. They was Nazarites, man. They was Essenes. They knew what was going on. Document after document just passed down to the right people. So again, if I were hungry, I would not tell you. That sounds exactly like Peter said. But it is not possible for him to abide in smoke and in storm. Who created a pure heaven and created the sun to give light to all? Right. Because this world is his. He don't need nothing from you. The whole world is his. He don't need you burning nothing. The world is his. All he needs you to do is have a repentant spirit and do what is right and opposite of wrong. Okay? Now, I'm going to keep it right there because I just want to give a lot of people something to think about right there, all right? I'm going to just keep it right there for the moment. Talk to the people. Let's talk to the people. Let's talk to the people. Yes, there were verses about burnt offerings and sacrifices. Yes, there were verses that are Yes, there are verses that are about burnt offerings and sacrifices towards animals. Yes, there are verses that are about burnt offerings and sacrifice that have nothing to do with animals. But what we're trying to let you know is all those scriptures are false. Our God does not tell you. The God in Genesis 1 is not going to tell you when he's hungry. Okay? For everything in the earth is his. He made a pure heaven, a pure earth. Why does he need to abide in smoke and storm and darkness? Our God who built the heavens and earth cannot be bound by a tabernacle, a building. Huh? Our God is holy. He's pure. He doesn't need anything from you but a repentant spirit and a pure heart. That's it. Ten times out of 10, the world is doing opposite of what was intended in Genesis chapter 1. So like I said, this is nothing but product 1. I'm just setting it out there for when people come see this, because I'm finna start getting deep into this now. Like I said, it's her. I'm not doing no capping, fam. I got a whole bunch of this. For days. And when I say they've been lying to us, man, but I've just been taking my time. But it's there. Torah is done for. I got it all in her. Torah is done for. All right. Now I'm finna get into the prophets. Before I start getting some more into the prophets, because I know what they finna start saying, I had to break down Torah. You got to know Torah, because when somebody want to come talking about what this say, I got to be able to deflect that. This is what being an even money changer is. I know y'all laws that y'all follow supposed to follow better than y'all, because I'm supposed to, because I'm here to defend my God of Genesis chapter 1 and all the lies that was spoken against him. That's what I'm here for. I defend the God of Genesis 1, the God of the living. And I'm here to say all those laws in Deuteronomy, you can eat whatever your soul lusts after at the gate, and you can't eat this, so don't eat it, give it to the stranger. No. Over here, we treat the strangers just like we treat ourselves. Doing to others as you want it done to yourselves. All that stuff is just foolery, bro. Like I said, we ready to talk about it. But this here segment here is just a brief, little slight message to show y'all, fam. Whatever that God is in Leviticus ain't the same God that created a pure heaven and for the sun to give light. That's not the same God. I'm sorry. That God tell you when he's hungry, he likes the smell of sweet things and all. No, that's not popping over here. Okay? So again, peace and blessings, everybody. Like I tell y'all, when you get up in that morning, don't worry about somebody else's business. Worry about how Hellenized you are and coming about that Hellenized state. Because I was once there. I once believed in fallen angels. I once believed in giants. I once believed that Adam was the sin of all the whole world. I once believed that Noah was a drunken. I once believed that Abraham had 2 wives. I once believed that Moses was a murderer. I once believed that Jacob had 4 wives. I once believed that Jesus was God. I once believed that Jesus ate fish. I once believed that Jesus was finna come out the sky and save humankind. You know what I'm saying? I once believed in Paul. You feel me? Yeah. I once believed in animal sacrifices. I once believed in Passovers. Why am I able to run this down? Because I recognize how Hellenized I was. And it's time to come up out of that state and realize that, yes, this book that we are holding is Roman flattery and hatred towards our patriarchal fathers that was righteous. And understand that Bible is not written by a prophetic hand, but by men of lies, like Peter said. That book is written by men of lies, not by a prophetic hand. Because if it was written by a prophetic hand, it would have stayed within one lane. But yet it speaks truth and it speaks opposite of our God. So therefore, it was not written by a prophetic hand. The prophetic hands are within the prophets, the ones that say he does not allow burnt offerings and sacrifice. He desires mercy. All right. It's not sacrifice. So, again, we're going to do a segment one day called How Hellenized Are You? How Hellenized are you? You should see. I'm going to tell y'all, fam, it's still devastating a little bit coming up out of this knowing ain't no Jesus coming back. I built my life around that. Idolatry, man. It was all to keep us enslaved. Now, that don't mean because he ain't coming back, you can do wrong. No, you stay pious. You stay doing the right thing. You stay keeping the commandments. Just don't be Greco-Roman Hellenized out. Your job is to live piously as much as possible because keeping commandments keep you away from evil. And as long as you stay away from evil, you live longer upon the land. You get to see your seed longer. You get to prosper. In the meantime, while watch the wicked die off. That's my message. Just because he ain't coming back, that don't mean get impious. It's not our fault we was the one lied to. It's not our fault we believed it. But it is our fault. All right? At the same time, because we have free will. All right? All right. All right, y'all. Peace and blessings, man. I hope y'all can get it. Like I said, man, I'm just trying to bring a lot of our people about this Hellenization for speaking against our Creator and our patriarchal fathers, man. So I'm gonna get up out of here. Like I said, hopefully I can return them all with some good more news. This ain't nothing but a little brief of part one, because like I said, we finna go into this thing. It's finna get deep. You know, you still got Essenes and Nazarites out there still Hellenized and they don't even know it. Is you hearing what I'm saying? You still have Essenes out there that call themselves Essenes and Nazarenes that still Hellenized and they don't even know it. You got, which what I'm saying is you still got Essenes and Nazarenes out there speaking against their Creator and don't even know it. I deeply tell everybody before you just get in this and just want a name and whatever, you must do some strict studying, fam. Because you got some people like me and other brothers that'll come along and test you. Because we supposed to. And I'm going to say this one more time before I go. The Essenes are opposite of what you Negroes are teaching. The Essenes are opposite of what you Negroes believe in. Wholeheartedly. This is not Lord of the Rings. This is reality. So that's all I'm going to tell y'all, man. Be careful with that book. If I was you, I just keep Genesis 1, man. If you want to be safe, like Peter said, judge things much safer, stay in Genesis 1. Meditate off that. I guarantee you, all of it going to start coming to light. He going to bless you with it. Once I start meditating on Genesis 1 a lot, it start coming to me. Pay attention to nature. Don't pay attention to your pastor. Don't pay attention to your camp. Pay attention to outside Genesis 1, what he gave you. That sun going to speak to you. The produce of the earth going to speak to you. The animals going to speak to you. The kingdom inside you going to speak to you. We Essenes are opposite of what we have been taught our whole lives. Peace and blessings, and I love y'all.